And let's start the recording in 3, 2, and 1. Hi everyone, welcome to LectoraLive, your insight track into Lectora. I'm joined today by, you know her already, she's the one and only Jennifer Valley. She is the community manager for Trivantis and a well-known Lectora developer, and she's been in multimedia for a long time. How you doing today?
Great. It is definitely Friday, so looking forward to the weekend and happy to chat with you here today.
Same here. The weekends tend to be work days sometimes. That's not good. But I always laugh because people say, oh, you're a business owner. You have so much freedom. No, that means you just work more, but you don't get paid for it. Here's our intro. And we are back. Well, Jennifer, you guys have had some news in the last couple of weeks. You're consolidating, Trivantis is consolidating all their offices into Southern Florida in the, I think it was Fort Lauderdale area, correct?
Yes, it is.
That's a big one. So sorry to see the Cincinnati office go. I like Cincinnati as a city. I was going, why do you have to move out of Cincinnati? Right when I find a place I like to go visit, and I go, they're gone from there. Darn. But it happens. I guess they want to keep the whole company in one spot at this point, short of maybe some sales offices or something later on. But I can see the decision. It's just I know some people were let go, and that happens. People we know and like, but you know what? They'll all do well. They all had great talent, and they were good folks to work with. But so yeah, we wish Trivantis a lot of luck in the new move, and all you have to do is keep John Blackman near the water. That's all he needed. Don't take him away from water. That'll be bad. But keep him near that surfboard. He'll be happy.
There you go.
There you go. Anyway, so what's new in the community?
We had some updates that happened a couple weeks back. It's been a minute since we've been able to chat and everything, but we decided to kind of do a Trivantis Community 2.0 version release. So we went ahead and made some significant changes to both the way that the site looks and to the way that it feels. There's definitely going to be more things in the works, maybe not right at this moment, but some of the highlights included the fact that we had the connect section in the site, and it's where you could go and talk to other people in the forum style communication. And we really felt like everyone was calling it the forum, so we decided to change the name and the navigation to that. There was also a change made to the usability of the site so that the font color and link colors were updated, so there are a higher level of visibility with people who are using the site. I know sometimes I had to get it real close and try and read everything, and there was a lot of other people who chimed in on those comments when we were talking about potential improvements. We also introduced, I'm trying to think of some other things, the leaderboard. That's been since the last time I talked to you, I believe.
So who's the leader guy right now? Is Sergey still the leader guy on the leaderboard?
I am.
Yeah, he is. He loves the
and we awarded badges for everyone for all of their participation and whatnot. So there's about, I think, 15 of them that you can earn doing various different activities. And then each and every time you attend a Lectora user conference, starting from last year and this year, you'll earn a badge that way as well. There's also badges related to the contest series that we're running, where we have the theme that everyone can participate in. And that's kind of really where I'm leading, because I have to do an example. I want to do an example for everyone who's out there, so you can kind of see my thoughts and takes on the situation. So can't win, but I can definitely participate. I think Sergey, and I know, forget his name. No. Oh, there's somebody else. We're kind of all battling with each other. I know Auto Owners has this internal thing going on right now where they're battling in between the employees to kind of have some fun with the situation as well.
That's fun. That's good. It is a lot of fun. It's if you ever want a good forum, if you're ever looking to upgrade Pro Boards, keep that name in mind. Pro Boards, they make great personal and business forums, and they're basically almost free. It's like $15 a month to run it. We used to have one on Pro Boards, and it was a really nice site. We had thousands of people. It wasn't related to e-learning. It was actually a martial arts forum, but we had like thousands of people on that thing. And then we had one on them years ago. It was an e-learning developers forum that we did back in the really late 90s, early 2000s, and we had probably about 1,700 people on that one. And that was also run through, I think it was Pro Boards at that time. And that was a great forum. They weren't really community set. They were forums, but you could make it like a community. You could add pages and all sorts of stuff to it, topics. Fun stuff. Running a community is sort of fun. It's also a lot of work.
Thank you for recognizing that.
It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Yeah.
The large majority of our community members who are active and available and go in there and answer questions, they're lifesavers. We really encourage and want to have a peer-to-peer conversation with our developers and product users, because there's a lot of experience and knowledge and training that can be shared across each and every person. And of course, coming from working with Lectora for the last 7 years, I have that skill. I can provide it to you, but at the same time, why not make a new friend? Or, have a conversation with somebody who you might potentially want to link up and work on a project with or something. So the fact that we have the forums that are not only popular and bustling, but also that communication that's coming from not only myself and other members of Trivana's staff, but other people that are using the product as well, is definitely my favorite aspect of the site. We're also doing a lot of updates and changes to knowledge base articles, making sure that everything is as up to the date as possible, because we know that a lot of people go out there to read articles and watch videos, and even LectoraLive recordings as well, to kind of get caught up on the news of what's been happening with our products.
That's true. It's sort of funny. We always make the comment that the Lectora folks, for some odd reason, don't like being on camera. I don't know why. We have invited more people, and they go like, no, I don't think so. They're very nervous about being on camera. Even people that Trivantis recommended, they'll go on for sure. Nope. It's a unique
the developer side of us all. We want to just hide into our little caves and plug away at our tiled explorer and mess with our actions and our variables, and we just want to talk to our SMEs, and that's it. We don't want to sit there.
I think you're totally right. Though we have had people on who didn't want to come on. They finally come on, and they had a good time. One guy I remember came on, and then he goes, "This wasn't as painful as I thought it'd be." Good. It was only a little painful.
Never painful with you.
But it's funny. He goes, "I thought it was going to be really painful, but it wasn't bad." I'm glad. We can apply more pain later if you'd like, but it's just funny. People are funny, and again, like you said, you're right. I think a lot of them are more engineering like. They're developers. They're pretty, and they're not necessarily into being on camera. And a lot of them think, "What do I have to do? Nothing. You have to be there and just chat, have a good time, and talk about who you are. It's about you." I don't want to talk about me. It's okay. No, we want to hear about you. People are interested. They're curious as to who you are, what you do, and what you've done. And sometimes you get people on. It's just not always. It's sort of interesting. That's why sometimes we don't have as many shows as we'd like, because we can't get guests for those weeks. It's like, hi.
I'm pulling on you, person watching.
Yeah.
Get a hold of me. community@trivantis.com.
Right there. Yep. Call her. She'll lead you our way. But no, it's seriously, it's one of those things. Get on the show. It's fun. Also, people will know who you are. And for whatever reason, if you want to be on a show and catapult whatever you're doing, a book, an article, a course, anything, gets people to know you, and it's fun.
I love the show and tells where people will come on and talk about either ebooks that they've written or courses that they've developed. It's always nice to hear the back end aspect of it, because I think that there's still a lot of that stigma with the L&D community where some people don't exactly know what you have going on and how much it actually takes to build your courses. And yes, that's really a time estimate that I'm providing you for this project right now.
Yeah.
So it's nice to kind of be able to have people shed light on the situation and make our little, community and industry more well known to as many people as possible, to get that backing and more employees and more projects and more conversations going on about how important it is to train and keep your employees up to date on the most relevant information, whether that's compliance or just a product that you're launching. I mean, you can actually do a lot of different things when it comes to e-learning that's not even e-learning based.
That's true.
There was a conversation at the Lectora User Conference about how to market your courses, and you can definitely include marketing information in your LMS. I think that was really apparent when John Mortensen showed the skin face for his LMS. It was a one-stop shop. And so there's lots of different ways of leveraging the different things that are in our mind or skill set and tool set as well.
Yeah, I love John. He's creative. He's smart. He's just a lot of fun to be around. He's been on the show a couple of times, and I just love the guy. And he's older than he looks, because I think he's actually been there for a while, working and doing stuff. But he's got the enthusiasm and joy of doing things of a 20-year-old, and I just love. I have to get him back on the show. We haven't, actually, now I think about it, we haven't invited him back on. He needs to come back on. He's always good. He loves doing cartoons and all this other stuff. And you've done a great job on the forum or the community, whatever you want to call it, with your ebooks. You've written, what, about 4 or 5 of them already?
Oh, let's see. I helped write 2, and then I contributed to 1, and then there's 2 more in the works at the moment. So it's one of those things where it was on my like life bucket list to do, whether it was me personally publishing them and placing them out onto a personal website or working for a company, just because I feel like being able to collect information and present it to people or put your opinion out there is definitely something that's of value, especially when so much can be learned and taught by just communicating with others.
Now, what do you write those books in? Is it a PDF, or how are you writing the books?
Just Word, and then we convert them over to PDFs and add a little bit of pizzazz here and there. I know people out there who are in graphics or marketing are rolling their eyes at me. I know that there's more involved with it. I appreciate it.
That's funny. No, the books are good. They've been good, and I think they do attract people to what you guys are doing and everything that's going on. And it's amazing. This is an industry that's been around for quite a while, and yet it's not an easy industry to jump into. Like, I don't know anybody who really got out of school and said, I want to be an e-learning developer. Most people, probably 95%, fall into it, and then they love it. They get into it and they say, I want to do more of this. This is a lot of fun, and it's just one of those things. But you don't find too many like multimedia degrees specializing in e-learning. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen one. I've seen multimedia degrees where they combine all the aspects of media to make videos and whatever else. But e-learning is kind of an odd animal that way, and a lot of people still to this day don't quite 100% get it. And the word e-learning is going away. According to what I've been reading lately, it's going to be called digital learning. That's the new current buzzword I'm hearing more and more.
New current buzzword.
Yep, the
kind
new
of love
buzzword.
when they go and change stuff like that.
Yes, digital learning. And it can't be a he, she, or whatever else, but that's another issue. But seriously, digital learning. It's cute. It's a little long. You could call it de-learning. De-learning, maybe. But de-learning sounds like you're unlearning, so that's not a good one to call it. I'm de-learning right now, everything I've ever learned. We don't want to de-learn. No, I'm de-learning it. But it's really digital learning. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting if that takes off or not. E-learning seems okay, but that really stood for electronic learning. And most people today will
Right.
go, "What's electronic?" It's so commonplace. Nobody
Yeah.
identifies it anymore as anything but just, well, it's the web, it's the internet,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So
The majority of people that I talk to, going back to the conversation about education and college and everything, conversating with everybody on the community, at Lectora user conferences, on social media, whatever the outlet may be, you usually either have your fresh out of college where they actually did find a degree. The couple that I've actually researched into and potentially was looking at going to, there's like one at the University of Wisconsin, and I'm going to forget all the other ones off the top of my head. There's a great e-learning industry article that goes through all of them. And then the other people are teachers or something of that sort who are misplaced, not in a negative way, but who have decided to go from the traditional classroom over into the whole e-learning realm or digital learning realm.
Yep.
And then the last person is me, and it was accidental. I found an article or a job posting, and there was words like SCORM and LMS and Lectora, and it sounded interesting. And I'm like, you know what, I could probably do that. But at the same time, it wasn't one of those situations where I knew exactly what it was going in. And I think once you kind of catch the bug for it or understand it more, get into the models and theories and start making your own courses and deep dive into Lectora, it's a very interesting and highly rewarding career that you can really take to the long haul if you want to, and see improvements if you're so inclined to really work towards those objectives and goals that you set at your organization. And as long as the company has a culture that respects e-learning and learning and development in general, you'll end up being a lot more encouraged, I think, than people who are not.
that's true. And it's an industry where you get to play with audio, you get to play with video, you get to play with graphics, animations, you get to do almost everything. And then, now mind you, some of the shops only have the author, the person who puts it all together. Then you have some where the author also maybe does graphics. Then maybe the author does a little bit of animations and graphics. Then you have the whole thing. Maybe they do their own voiceover. But either way, you're doing a lot of stuff with some very creative people and creative elements that you get to put all together. And it's a lot of fun. It's just kind of fun. I remember first time I ever did video editing was probably late 90s. And it was with Adobe Premiere, which I hated. I really didn't like it at all. I was going, if this is video editing, I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. Then in the early 2000s, I found back then it was Vegas, which was a video editing tool, and it was a lot of fun. All of a sudden, I went, I'm really liking this. Hey, I really do like video editing. And then I got into other tools, and today I probably know 3 or 4 video editing tools and really enjoy video editing. It's fun. It's a little tedious sometimes, but it's also a lot of fun.
Okay.
And yet it's very linear. It's not like e-learning where you have branching and all that. I guess you could branch to different endings or different outcomes if you create a DVD or create an interactive piece with video, which you can do with something like Lectora pretty easily. But it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. And then, of course, you've got animations and graphics and this and that. And the only bad part is you get attached to programs that don't exist anymore. It's like Adobe bought a whole mess of programs and then gets rid of half of them. It's like, oh, they had one called Visual Communicator. I don't know if you ever saw that one. It was.
I heard about it, but I've never played in it.
It was great. It was. It was the idea of creating. It had a teleprompter, so the right side of the screen was a teleprompter, if you will. But the teleprompter also had things that it called up, like pictures and everything else. So you could put commands in that, but then when you went into publish mode, you would read or improvise on the teleprompter, and things would be happening on screen. So it was good for creating training, sound bites, news pieces, articles, marketing. And it was so much fun. It was very innovative for its time. Then Adobe bought it. Killed it. And you go, why'd you kill it? They took one thing out of it, which was a tool they called Ultra, which then became part of Adobe Premiere, which was a green screening tool that was awesome. Easy and awesome. And they got rid of it. I mean, not Ultra totally, but they got rid of the other part of it. And you just go, oh man, that was such a nice tool. They were only around for about a year or two and sold and destroyed. It happens. Nobody's replaced it either. That's the funny part. That was a great idea, and anybody without any major knowledge of multimedia could easily create beautiful production, graphics, videos, just by putting it on a timeline, if you will, kind of a vertical timeline of when things happen, relating to when you're saying something. Very, very clever. We need that back. Hey, Trivantis, you want to develop something like that? That would be cool. Because that was a real niche that was powerful, fun, and just strong. So... Yeah, you see it all. So, and you know graphics and stuff. You do more than just. You do more than just. I'm sorry, what?
A lot of my tool sets were so archaic looking back. And there wasn't a lot of budget, so it was, let's go make a graphic in PowerPoint. And let's use word art in Word. And when you get introduced to things like Lectora Inspire that has Camtasia and Snagit, it's like, oh, now I can do, even more things. And then somebody introduced me to GIMP and Audacity, and I had a short little time where I had to switch from Windows to Macintosh, so I got experience with GarageBand, and one of the things that I really enjoy, and probably one of the reasons why I'm in a tech company right now, is that I enjoy the products and the programs and learning about them and seeing what they can do, because having something in front of you that can help you really make your e-learning a lot easier is definitely helpful in the long run. And with the more and more advances that we have and the more free ones that are even coming out, I mean, you technically can get away with doing a lot in GIMP.
Yep, that's true.
I know how upsetting that potentially was for a lot of graphic designers and everything when it was introduced and went through its iterations and everything.
Yeah. Have you ever tried, there's one called Aviary, which I think is much nicer than GIMP. It's free, and they have a lot of modules, and I haven't kept up with it in the last couple of years, but they constantly keep improving it, and it can do just about everything Photoshop does. It's really clever. And GIMP was really good too, and these are all just community founded, they're kind of a .org type thing, and they really do a nice job. Actually, if you like video editing, DaVinci Resolve, what is it now, 14, just came out. It's free. I mean, in essence, it's in free beta forever. There is $1,000 version, but that's for cinema, and most people don't create movie studio quality videos. That's not what they're doing. So they have a cinema version of it for $1,000, but the rest is free. And for free, you get a darn lot of stuff. And if you're not a real video editor, but you want to do video, like you said, Camtasia is darn cool.
Camtasia is cheap, considering everything that you can do with it.
It doesn't cost a thing.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I always recommend that people add on if you're thinking about doing learning and everything, is just the value of what it actually costs in comparison to things that are on the market and things that you can do within the program. Yes, there are limitations. It's not this full-bodied, robust tool or anything like that, but it's definitely very, very comparable to top leaders on the market, in my opinion. The other one that came to mind when we were talking is Canva.
Oh, Canva, that's cool. Yep.
Yeah, they did a lot of improvements to the site and everything, where it makes it a lot easier for you to do marketing images and posters and all this other stuff using their templated items. And yeah, you might have to make a purchase if you really like an image or something that's not in the free library. But in the long run, I feel like the website, the whole process of using it is very simple and easy to understand, and they're constantly updating as well.
And it was only like $100 a year to get it. I mean, if you want the full everything, and it's not that much. No, I mean, we have an Adobe stock subscription because we do a lot of stuff with pictures, and they have really good pictures. If I have any complaint about Adobe stock, it's it's your typical slightly too set up photography stuff. They look fake many times.
Yeah.
It's like, no, get people in a mood, get them
Candid.
emoting, yeah,
Candid.
candid, not just, you know. And I don't know why, but everybody likes to do this kind of pose. Totally constricted, arms crossed. And I remember using that on a long time ago on a PowerPoint I did. This is 20 years ago. And the person we did it for looked at me and goes, throw them all out. This is closed. It looks stupid. Good point. Yep. And we did. And I have never used anybody like this again ever after that. But she was right. They were very closed. But all photographers take pictures of people with their arms closed everywhere. And you just go, you're right. That's really not a very open kind of way of talking to people.
Welcoming.
Yeah, but that's what it was.
I really like Getty Images.
Yes.
Their subscription is super expensive,
Yeah.
but once you actually get into it, the full depth. Because I used to work for a company where we had multiple different silos that would come in, functions that would need training. So what you were working on a daily basis, it really depended on what you were assigned to or what you decided to pick up. And so we had customer service needs, environmental health and safety, finance. There was a lot of different aspects to images that you would need where you were looking for goggles and you needed them to have a very particular look and feel, and somebody couldn't go out onto the floor and take a picture of them because there was a very strict no picture. You know, you had to go through so much red tape.
Right.
And I really wish that learning organizations, if you're like really starting to form, you talk to the company about taking pictures, about using employees, their faces, their voices. There's so many internal resources that can be used in conjunction with having, you know, another potential tool that will help supplement that in the long run.
Yeah, and it's fun. We used to do a lot of video photo shoots, especially for avatars. We created our own, and it was a lot of fun. It was, we'd have like 15, 20 people come out, and we would take just a lot of different shots for a lot of different courses. And, you know, for a long time we had our own little mini library, and they were exactly what we wanted for the courses. Not canned, but they were good. I mean, they were professional level. And this is when digital cameras went on floppies. That's a long time ago. But that was the old Sony Mavicas. It was fun. But that's the old days. And now now even photo shoots are even cheaper, really. You can get really good DSLRs or mirrorless cameras for not much. And you could do all that with some lighting. You can do some great photo shoots. And the other thing that people forget is you need direction. You need to direct the actors or the people being photographed to perform a certain way, make a certain face, act a certain way. And you can't just say, make an ugly face. You have to tell them how to do it. You have to get them in that mood. Sometimes you have to prompt them. You have to kind of get into that zone of, okay, you are angry. Okay. No, that's not angry. That's sad and pathetic. Now you need to get angry. And then you work with them, and it's a lot of fun. You can just have a blast working with people on things like that. And it doesn't cost as much as you think to do your own photo shoots.
Especially now with the advancements with like Amazon, the availability of things, and then I'm a full advocate for Prime just for personal use.
Yes.
But it's you decide you can put it into your budget on a Monday and it's at your office on a Wednesday.
I know.
I mean, you can start doing it right away if you really wanted to. It's just understanding, at least a camera and a tripod and maybe a background that you can put up or switch out, in light boxes maybe if you don't have good lighting in your office, and you're good to go. I actually watched it used to be Linda, but I think they call it LinkedIn Learning now. There was a training video on how to use an iPhone to make really good professional quality images. My sister has the newest one, and she has portrait mode on it, and it's just like as far as quality goes. And so there's so much advancement right now that there really isn't an excuse if you have a phone at your disposal on being able to go out and take a decent picture.
Well, we have, for example, here, standard office building, And then one of our rooms, which is this one, here, let me show you. That's not it. Where is our studio? There we go. Then we don't go. Our shot seems to have gone away. Don't know why. So that's us. That's not it. And the camera's off. Oh well. That was the best laid plans of mine. Let me show you what it looks like. It's off. Our camera's off over there. So anyway, see when you want to show something and it's not there, you just go, okay. So much for that idea. But all we have is a couple of lights here right now. Well, we have a lot of lights actually in here. We've got lights overhead, lighting a green screen behind me. We've got another green screen at the other end of the studio with, again, lights overhead. And these overhead lights probably cost $200. It just cans. Just hung them up there, and they're cheap, $25 daylight balance, 91 CRI or color rendering index. Philips. You can buy that in any Home Depot, so you don't have to spend a fortune on that. And then we have our little lights in front of me. They're small. You can probably see the reflection in my eye, maybe. But those are small lights. They're low blenders. And those are $1,500 for 3 of them. So those are professional lights, but they're not big. They're small. And we don't have a lot of light on me because you don't need it. You don't need to go totally Nova on these things.
Everything out.
These things can burn anything out. And then we have a couple of large monitors. We've got a whole mess of audio stuff, and you don't even have to make it that complex. So you can do a lot with not a lot of money. And now we spent probably $50,000 in here, but we wanted to. We didn't have to, but it's more fun. That's where we get real geeky, and it's just fun building the studios and doing the things. And anytime we have new employees or new contractors come in, we immediately sit them down, put them in the green screen, take some pictures, and say, okay, go take yourself out of the picture, because they all know how to do Photoshop usually. And that's what they use in their correspondence and everything else. And it's fun. At first they look at us like, you're taking pictures? Yep, we take pictures. We tell people on the interview, don't mind if every so often, I'm the worst one. I walk around with a camera and take people's pictures, and they're like, oh. But it's fun. It also gets them used to getting on camera, so they're not afraid, shy when you actually have to be in front of an audience or in front of people, or you're doing a presentation. You don't go and freak out. It's funny. We interviewed a gal at a different show yesterday. She's a voiceover talent, and she's done on-camera stuff, but she was very nervous just being herself in front of a camera to talk about what she does. She was fine, by the way. But she was nervous before we started. I go, nah, don't worry about it. We've never lost anybody in flight yet. Yeah. But anyway. So what else is happening on your end?
Just working on a lot of stuff for the community, making sure those questions get answered, and the articles get updated. And I'm still helping out with the synchronized training, so I do that quite regularly. I'll do demonstrations for the company as well, so people can see Lectora in action if they're considering buying it. Yeah. So it's always a varied task from day to day, but for the most part, it's the same skill sets that I've been utilizing, but always willing and interested and prompted to learn something new. That's
great. And ain't it fun to be on the internet? I mean, you can't do half of the things we do nowadays without the internet. It's just great. Like you said, you can be far away from the salesperson and do a whole demo without even being near the people. I think that's great. It saves a lot on travel costs, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, I guess we are just about out of time. We went 45 minutes. We started late because we were having Skype issues, and we still got a 45-minute show in. Isn't that good?
We always chat at each other for a little minute.
We do. It's fun. But anyway, well, hey, Jen, have a great one. We always enjoy having you on. I look forward to seeing you live next time. If you're watching the show, feel free to subscribe. Get on that community forum and just be part of it. I should talk. I'm never on it, but I'm never on any forum anymore lately. I just don't have a lot of time. But if you have the time, make it. It's fun. You'll have a good time. Every so often I get badges for performing or doing something. I go, I got a badge? I don't like badges. Wait a minute. This is kind of fun. I do like badges. I don't know. Because I've gotten badges out of nowhere, and it's always sort of fun. But anyway, appreciate you coming on, and look forward to seeing you again. And again, we'll be on next week. I think next week we have Diane Elkins on the show, very well-known author, writer, and e-learning person. Have a good one. Thanks, Jen.
Bye. Have a good day.